Really quickly, I just want to show you what boarding schools are actually like. Give me like 25 minutes because there are cool communities that I want to share. But Ori, why would you do that? I'm glad you said that. Follow me. My name is Ori Evans, and I'd like to show you what boarding schools are like. I'm heading to New Hampshire to visit my old high school, and since I'm from Texas, I thought I'd never say that, but here we are. I'm making some stops on the way to visit some pretty cool people and places that I think will help you get a sense of what boarding school communities are really like. So get out your Princeton Review and flashcards and burn them, because that's not what this is about. My first stop is in Colorado to visit Fiona. Enjoy.
I'm Fiona Jane Ritchie, I guess, if you call me Fiona Jane. I'm a junior at Colorado Rocky Mountain School, and I'm originally from Lake Tahoe, Nevada.
The Colorado Rocky Mountain School is located in the stunning town of Carbondale, Colorado. It has about 325 acres of land, doubles the amount of students at 162, 9 through 12. It was founded in 1953 by Anne and John Holden and sits in between this mountain and or this hill. The philosophy here is centered around community, college-bound kids, and a sense of adventure. When the school was just starting out, students and faculty played a huge part in building this place from the ground up. Dorms, ranching, renovating classrooms, an adobe building for the arts. The community has its stamp on everything. The nation's first kayaking program, one of the only blacksmithing programs run here, and to top it off, this place has a solar dorm. So why did Fiona decide to come here?
Kind of like I said, I decided not to come my freshman year. I was at the public high school at home. I was playing club soccer, and I had my friends at home. I guess I really just... everything was fine. It was just that. It was just fine. And I wanted more than that. I wanted something that was exciting and people that wanted to be there. Like, I just didn't feel like I was in an environment where that was supported. Like, it was so uncool to be interested in academics and interested in learning. I decided that I wanted to come to boarding school, specifically here because everyone here wants to be here. Teachers are all really passionate about what they're teaching. That kind of makes it an atmosphere in which everyone's excited to learn because the teacher's excited to teach it. In classes, everyone's engaged, and like, it's cool to be engaged. It's cool to want to be there. It's cool to have a love of learning, and it's cool to do the work. It's cool to be the one that engages in class discussions, and that's just so valuable to me.
Students at CRMS follow an integrated liberal arts curriculum, meaning everyone here receives a well-rounded selection of experiences, from music production to the sciences, and of course the outdoors. The average class size is about 12, and the school offers around 57 different courses for students to take part in.
Well, I definitely think something I couldn't really do anywhere else is the outdoor programs we do here, so I think having those opportunities, like, I'd never canoed before I came here, and now I've been on 2 week-long canoe trips this year. They were super fun. I didn't know whitewater canoeing was even a thing, but it is. You can whitewater canoe. I've also gotten the opportunity to try so many new things. Like I mentioned earlier, climbing outside. Like, I was terrified of it. I was really scared, but all of my friends were like, come with us. Like, we're gonna go up to Rifle. You should come climbing with us. You're both in the classroom with these people and in the outdoors. And that opportunity has been absolutely invaluable. I also feel like I've gotten the opportunity to grow to be more independent. I would consider that an opportunity, the ability to be able to grow personally, and I feel like you get a lot more in touch with who you are as a person when you have to figure out like how you're going to live your life because you don't have someone there to tell you how to.
If you haven't guessed it by now, the outdoors are a central part of CRMS. To me, one of the greatest benefits of boarding school is being able to find your passions and then being able to focus and hone in on whatever your craft is. You're an active participant in your experience, and that's the way it should be. CRMS offers climbing, biking, kayaking, skiing, snowboarding, and whatever Nordic is, among other things. A 10-day adventure in the mountains, glass blowing, silversmithing, drama, ceramics, painting. I mean, the list goes on. Long story short, there's an abundance of opportunities to try new things and find out what brings you joy in communities like these.
So my family is me, my mom, my dad, and my little sister, Brenna, who's 14. It's one of my favorite things to be able to go home and see her. My parents come out here to visit me a lot when they can. My friends always say like, oh, your parents are up here again? Whoa. And if you want to count my dog is a border collie mix. He's adorable. I miss him all the time. Yeah, we're all pretty tight. And because of that, I think it was kind of hard for them to let me go to boarding school. I originally was looking at going freshman year. I decided not to, partially because of the fact that I wasn't quite ready to leave home yet, and because I'm so close with my family. My dad was pretty skeptical when I was looking into it. He was very much a person that's likes to keep our whole family together, so he was kind of like, I don't know about that. My mom was supportive. She went to this school, so she kind of had to be supportive. That's what she told me, was that she hated to see me go, but that she couldn't let me miss an opportunity like this because she knew just how incredible it was. And what they actually had me do freshman year, just to make sure that it wasn't just some like weird idea that I had, was that they had me make a presentation on the pros and cons of boarding schools, in like specific boarding schools too. So I had to like prove to them that I really did want to go to boarding school and wasn't just leaving on some whim. I just wanted something more, and I think the fact that I returned to the idea of going to boarding school after being at my high school and home for 1 year, it really proved to my parents that it was something that was important to me and that I did really want to do. They were super supportive in my coming and have helped me a lot with being here.
To tag on to that, I've gotten a lot of questions about how can students approach their parents when it comes to wanting to go to boarding school. And that's a tough one, not gonna lie. A lot of things come into play. But I think what I can do is offer a first step or a suggestion, which is, like Fiona did, figure out why you want to go to boarding school. Would this be an environment you would thrive in? And I think once you figure that out, then great. Then you can tell your parents this is something you want to explore, and then they'll see why.
How's living away from home? It's hard sometimes. I mean, I definitely get homesick, but both of my parents got Snapchat purely for the reason that they get to see my face that way. So I Snapchat my parents to keep in touch with them. And my little sister, of course. I don't know. I mean, you get used to it. You get used to everything. It just takes time. Being here, like, I basically have a family of 160 people. More, I guess, since we have all the faculty too. Maybe like 200 people that I consider all of them my family. And especially in the dorm, like the 16 girls that I live with and the dorm parents that come in every night. It's such a supportive environment. And I know if I ever need anything, I can ask any one of them. I can text our group chat if I need like tape. I don't know.
Faculty take on a big role at boarding schools. Most, if not all, communities have some sort of advisor program that help foster meaningful connection and make sure that students are progressing the way they should be.
Biggest lesson I learned living on my own, it would probably be time management. I definitely used to struggle with that a lot. Like, I have a little whiteboard in my room with my to-do list on it because that helps me remember what I need to make time for. So you have to be able to like get yourself to do what you need to do, and that's been something that I've really had to grow into. And you also have to be able to take care of yourself. That's a big one as well, I would say, because you have to really be the one making sure that you're eating healthily. You're not like staying up till 2 every morning or like binge watching Netflix all the time, that you're actually going outside. So you have to really be self-aware and be able to like tell someone if you're not feeling well, because everyone here wants to help you.
The intangibles and all the lessons that you learn in boarding school are just absolutely invaluable. The sheer fact that I finished this film is a testament to that. Trust me.
My advice to people looking into boarding school, make sure you're ready to leave home, because I don't think I was ready my freshman year. If you feel ready for it and that's what you want to do, go for it. It's such an amazing experience. Sure, you'll miss home, but it's worth it. I also think you should make sure that you go visit a boarding school and like in person if you can, obviously. Not everyone can, but to just be on campus and kind of feel like, is this a place that I want to live for the next 3, however many years you go to boarding school, years of my life. I don't know, my college counselor always says this about looking at colleges, you get a vibe. And I think it's kind of similar to that, like you step on campus and you get a vibe. Give it a shot if you're interested in it. But I definitely think you should do your research and go to a place that you'll like.
My name is Rohan Pavaluri. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Upsolve. We're a nonprofit that helps low-income families file for bankruptcy for free using technology, because there are millions of families that suffer from medical bills, predatory loans, and layoffs every year, and we help them get back on their feet before things get worse. In the last 6 months, we've relieved over $30 million in debt for 500 low-income families, and we're the largest legal aid nonprofit in the United States for bankruptcy by a factor of 5.
Rohan's company Upsolve is doing great things, and I wanted to know a little bit more about Rohan. So, Rohan, why did you want to go to boarding school?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wanted to find out what the rest of the world was like. And coming from a neighborhood in Chicago, which was very insular, I didn't have a great picture into what people from other states were like, or people from other countries were like. And getting to Exeter really did feel like the center of many different cultures across the world. My parents were really supportive. They realized that they had taken a lot of risks going from a place that they knew really well, India. They met when they were in medical school, and they moved to New Zealand, then they moved to Australia, then they moved to the United States. And for them, they sought a better life for their kids where there would be unlimited opportunity. So when we grew up in Chicago, our main value as a family was education. For me, I wanted to find a place where I could push myself to be the best version of myself. I was doing some research and found that there was this whole set of schools out there called boarding schools that would help people who couldn't afford to go to them. Great amount of diversity in many instances. Some of my best friends were from South Korea and from the Bronx, and also just attract some of the top students across the country. So I told my parents that I wanted to apply to Exeter, and they let me do it. And when you're exposed to all these different viewpoints and walks of life, you come to understand what the world is really like beyond your immediate community. And that was so important, as I wanted to establish for myself what my values were as a human in the world. So Exeter was a really hard place, and it really taught me what it meant to expect more from myself. Exeter really gave me the confidence to try big things at a young age, and gave me the confidence to go out and try to start my own nonprofit when I got to college. And I don't think it was any particular moment at Exeter, but it was the aggregate of just being given such responsibility that gave me the confidence to go out and continue to take big risks, to continue to be entrepreneurial in my own work. So after Exeter, I got to Harvard and was really lucky to now have this feeling that I am ready. Exeter really taught me that you don't have to wait to make a big difference in the world. You can look at all of the young Exeter alumni who've gone out and done big things, and you think, wow, if they can do it, why the hell can't I? So when I got to college, I really wasn't as focused on how can I do the most clubs, or how can I really do the best on these exams. I was more focused on how can I use all that I've been given up till now to go out and find a way to help people. That was the reason that I'm so glad I went to Exeter, is it really taught me to just go out and try to make a big difference and not wait. And I think if I hadn't gone to Exeter, perhaps I wouldn't have had the same strong urge immediately and the same confidence immediately to go out and make a big difference in the world. I realized that public policy was a way that one individual can make a big difference in the world, because overnight, if you change a public policy and you all of a sudden provide people with access to healthcare, or all of a sudden reduce carbon emissions so that we have a better environment for our kids, you can change the world in a big way. To access your rights, you need to rely on a middleman. In most cases, if you're low income, you can't afford. So I set out to try to change that. Over the next year, we hope to relieve $100 million in debt. I hope to do this work for as long as it takes to reach our ultimate vision of changing the way that this country thinks about the law and making it more fair, more equitable, and more accessible for the people who need it most. Do I have any advice for those looking into boarding schools? And my answer is go out and talk to people in your community who have had the experience. By and large, the experience will be transformative, or they'll explain to you how transformative the experience was. And you'll hear from the vitality with which they talk about their boarding school experience, about how much of a big part it's played in their life. So I would say go out and just talk to people and learn from them, and see whether you feel like it might be right for you. I mean, I think that one of the really amazing parts of Exeter is the friends that I was able to make. Many of my friends today continue to be the people who I spend the most time with, and they're from a really amazing, diverse set of backgrounds and families. And one thing that gives us happiness in this world is the community that we're able to build. And I'm so lucky for the Exeter community that continues to play a meaningful part in my life today.
Awesome. That's I continued my pilgrimage to Exeter once again. When I first arrived on this campus about 5 years ago, I felt instantly this was where I wanted to be. I really dove into filmmaking. The instructor and chair of the art department at the time, Mr. Richards, really supported my passion and gave me the opportunity to focus on it. He allowed my use of the equipment and even advocated for more funds to upgrade. Thank you, Mr. Richards. I made a lot of fun stuff here with my friends, which helped me grow. We had to balance our days between learning and executing at the highest level, and to me, that was the whole point. The unified struggle bus. All of us trying our best while being challenged every day, be it in volleyball, or Model UN, or step team, even Latin if you're into that. An alum who graduated decades ago, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make it sound old, Mike, but he let me in on what he thinks about everybody who comes here, and that they're just all interesting people. And if that's a place you want to be, then start reaching out to schools, visiting. Find people who can help you in your journey on how you want to be educated.
There's a lot of clothes swapping in our dorm. It's fun. You have like 16 closets.